Hiya guys, West Country Explorer here. Today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be walking along a small section of what would once have been the Somerset and Dorset railway line. I'm going to walk as much of the sections I can between Henstridge and Templecombe. Now, as you'll see during the video, not all of the track bed can be walked along nowadays, but I'm going to walk along as much of it as I can and just show off a little bit of the scenery and all the rest. So guys, hope you enjoy. Come along for the journey. Now I'm currently on the edge of Henstridge. Now that house there is known as Crossing Cottage, and the railway line, when it existed, would have carried on in that direction through what is now a private garden. Off in that direction is Stur Newton, and the line would have carried on down in that direction on to like Bournemouth area, which would have been one end of the railway line. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come along in this direction, and like I said, this is going to go up towards Templecombe. I mean, the line itself, one end was Bournemouth, the other end would have been the Bath area, but I'm just going to do a little short section of it. As you can see, there's little footpaths off to the sides. But yeah, I'm going to just do a little short section of it. Henstridge to Templecombe is about 2 miles or so in total, something like that. So I'll do what I can. Obviously, Templecombe, there is still a station there. That's on the Waterloo-Exeter line. So yeah, you can still get trains to Templecombe, just not on the old S&D line. I say, hard to imagine that there used to be trains running along here back in the past. I mean, to look at this footpath now, it'd almost be hard to imagine that this was once a railway line. Very overgrown. You see a couple of stiles, one going into a field there. Like I said, loads of footpaths around this area. Quite a nice little farm building over there. Coming up to the site where Henstridge station would have been. Along there is a footpath, part of which is the White Hart Link, 50-mile walking, circular walking area. I'm going to be doing that a bit later on in the year, when the weather's a bit nicer and the days are a bit longer. So hopefully in the next 2 or 3 months I'll be doing that. I think that used to be the railway house for Henstridge station. Like I said, this used to be part of the old railway line along here. This bit. New housing estate there. Well, I don't know how old it is, but new in the grand scheme of things. Definitely wouldn't have been there back in the railway days. But Somerset and Dorset railway line started coming into existence, I think it was about 1863, something like that. And of course, those of you know a bit about the history of British railway lines, you can probably guess why this particular line came to an end. That's right, good old Dr. Beeching in the 1960s. He's got a lot to answer for, that guy. Yeah, so it's 66 that this line came to an end. Yeah, so that's the bit I've just walked along. At the moment, this, as you can see, this is all blocked off. That's the A30 just up there. So what I'm going to have to do is get up onto the road, drop down the other side, because just over there is a footpath going down from the road to the other side. So I'll meet you on the other side, guys. There you go, just come down the footpath to the other side. As you can see, that's part of a private garden now. That bit of the track bed, from what I can see, is a bit waterlogged. So yeah. From the A30 I had to walk roughly diagonally across a couple of fields into the field behind me, and I've come straight along that field up to this gate here, which I've climbed over, and I'm now on the track bed. Well, what was the old track bed. Behind me, as you can see, that big pile of earth, that would have been going back towards Henstridge station. So obviously that little bit of trackway, obviously, as you can see, you can't walk that little bit, but you can still, it's just a little diversion through 2 or 3 fields. As you can see, small fields behind. And then behind me, that's the track bed I'm going to be walking on towards Templecombe. And I must admit, this bit of the route, I find it a lot easier to imagine that it was at one point an old railway line. Like I said, that first bit, that looked like nothing more than a footpath, so it's like, how could that be a railway line? Now, for many years in my younger days, with the Somerset and Dorset railway line, I was all sort of very much aware of that it had a nickname, Slow and Dirty. I think it earned, from what I'd heard, it earned that nickname because the trains were slow and dirty and all the rest. But when I was talking to my dad about it, my dad had never heard the nickname Slow and Dirty. He'd only ever known of the nickname Swift and Delightful. So there's my dad knowing the S&D line by the nickname Swift and Delightful, and there's me knowing the S&D line by the nickname Slow and Dirty. So completely contradictory nicknames. Hello. Why is that bird in there? Poor little animal. That ain't no place for a bird to be. I don't know whether I should let it go or not. I don't know. might attack me if I let it go. Might get into trouble, but I don't know. Poor animal. I don't know what to do, guys. Well, I mean, I'm going to be walking past again on my way back to get my bike, so I'll think about it. Not sure what to do about that. That poor bird. That way up there is a bit blocked, so the wind's picking up a bit now. So hopefully there's a simple walk around that little bit. So hopefully a short little diversion through a couple of fields. Well, as you can see, guys, a little bit wet underfoot. Not too surprising for this time of year. So, as you can probably hear, a bit squelchy underfoot as well. So I definitely say it's another one of those walks. Make sure you're wearing appropriate footwear. If I scan down, well, as you can see, it's a bit of a puddle. Guys. I've just finally got through that muddy bit. I think this road's called Park Lane. Now what we have here is a light railway line. Gartell Light Railway, privately owned, started in I think the 90s. And it runs for about 3/4 of a mile along what was the old track bed, and it is open to the public on selected days throughout the year, like summer weekends. I think it's just Saturdays it's open, on the old Saturdays. What I'll do, guys, is I'll put a link to their website in the description, so if any of you are interested in it, learning more about Gartell Light Railway, you can go and have a little look-see at their website. I reckon, now I would love to have a go on, come down and have a ride on one of their trains one weekend. I reckon Amy would love to do it as well. So what I'm going to try and do, guys, one day, come down, have a little ride, maybe do a little video as well, and I think Amy would love it as well, so get her along. As you can see, there's some guys working away there, doing maintenance, I guess. So as you've probably guessed, guys, I can't walk along that bit of the track bed because that would mean walking along a railway line. Okay, no trains running, but still not a good idea. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to go back to Henstridge, get my bicycle, and then cycle round to t'other end of Gartell Light Railway, and sort of pick up the walk on the other side. So see you in a minute, guys. Well, actually, it'll only be a few seconds for you, but be a few minutes for me. Well, guys, here we are at t'other end of the line, pretty much. This is Common Lane Crossing. As you can see, you've got the line going across the road here. That's pretty much the end of it, down there. So what I'm going to do is, because because I can walk along here without getting on the track itself. The sign says no unauthorised person beyond this point. What I'm hoping is, I'm hoping I can get past this part and onto the old track bed beyond this point. So, and there's no trains running today. Like I said, they don't start up until like the spring summer time. So, and there's plenty of room for me to walk out without being on the tracks or near any trains running. So if somebody does come along and says, "Oh, what you doing?" I'll be very humbly apologetic and explain what I'm up to, and be very sincere. There you go, Bowbrook siding ground frame, an old Templecombe sign. Tower View ground frame just there. You can see they've got semaphore signals here, the old semaphores. Right, now what I'm hoping is, I want to somehow somehow get to the other side over there. So I think what I might do, guys, hang on a minute, now I'm going to try and see if I can get across that little stream. Beautiful clear water, lovely, lovely. Right there. Oh, there we go. On the other side. Right, I think what I'll do is I'll come up this little bit, and that should get me past all the track beds. Right, so there's that. That's the very end of the track. I've just climbed over that fence, and hopefully, can carry on. Now the route I've just taken, sort of past the tracks and across a stream and over a barbed wire fence, probably not the most advisable route to do. I wouldn't recommend it much myself. So, ooh, loads of tyres. Sure they could be put to good use. Right. Yeah. So carry on a bit further. I mean, looking at this countryside all around, must have been really nice coming along in an old steam train, looking out the windows at this countryside. Mind you, going along in any train, being able to look out the window at countryside is nice. Here we are. I'm getting pretty close to the end of my walk now. What I'm gonna try and do, I'm gonna try and get as close as I can to the bridge. See that bridge just up there? Let's see how close I can get to it. Possibly not all that close, but I'll see what I can do. Well, this is as close as I'm going to get from this side. And that road going up over the line, that's called Temple Lane. Yeah, because we're very close to Templecombe now. What I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to walk back. Well, actually, tell you what, I'm just going to swivel you around a sec. Right, there you go, swivel you around. What I'm going to do, guys, is going to walk back to my bike, get that, cycle into Templecombe. I think what I'll do is then see if I can drop down on the other side of the bridge and all that, and yeah, and sort of finish off in Templecombe. And here we are, to the other side of the bridge. What I did was parked my bike on the roadside just further on up there, changed it to a gate, walked down that little pathway bit, and what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna see how far along I can walk along this track bed. Might not be able to get too far, but I'll see what I can do, guys. Although this bit's quite nice. Well, all the route's been quite nice, but I especially like this bit. I spy a bit of a building on up ahead. Don't know, I think it was an old railway building. I can't quite see what it is from here. Oh. There you go. Oh. That's a little access to fields and that. Well, actually, no, I think that might be part of a private residence or something. Oh, I suspect that's connected to that building there. Right, well, I think this is as far as I can go. So what I'll do is I'll stop recording here and go into Templecombe. Well, guys, that's the end of the walk, and I'm at Templecombe now. I'm at Templecombe railway station, and this is the line for Waterloo down to Exeter. And this used to be a much bigger station than what it is nowadays. So that fence behind me, I think the platform for the S&D line would have been sort of behind there, if I remember rightly. But like I said, yeah, so this is the Exeter line. No trains running today because there's strikes on at the moment. So yeah, so I can do a bit of filming without any worries of a train coming through. So I hope you've enjoyed, guys. And as you can see from the video, not all of the old track bed is walkable nowadays. There's bits of it that can't be done. Now, if you are interested in the S&D line, quite a little while ago I cycled along the North Dorset trailway, and that runs along part of the old S&D track bed, and I did it from Stur down to Blandford. So if you're interested in S&D line, what I'll do is the link to that video I'll put in the description for this, so you can watch that if you want and see another part of the old S&D line. So I must admit, the other day I was watching that video, and it's because it was one of my earlier videos, probably not the best of qualities, but it's still quite a nice little watch. So if you want to watch it, click on the link and see a bit more of the S&D line. Right, so I've now got a nice little cycle ride back home, so yeah, I'm gonna crack on. I say thank you for watching and look forward to seeing you in the next video, and in the meantime guys, as usual, stay safe, take care, and God bless.